There's the lake. We're approaching Whitefish Acres. This is one of my absolute favorite ice fishing missions. Whitefish.
Yeah, they're a cool fish, all right. It's they're a cold water species technically, like lake trout and tullabies, and in the summertime they're often confined to small parts of the lake, but in the wintertime they're everywhere.
It's really interesting to me in the fact that there's probably 100 lakes, if not more, in Minnesota that has whitefish in them. And I could almost guarantee you, if you went to all 100 lakes, nobody is probably fishing for them. It's really a super bypassed fish.
And they're really great eating fish. They're a great fish to smoke, and they're really they're fun to catch. They're hard fighters, and they can be challenging to catch. Even in lakes where there's a lot of them, I mean, they can be just like anything else. They can be real finicky. So you kind of got to dial in your program to get them. So.
As you can see, we have a 40-foot hole here, and this is a classic type of spot where you'd find whitefish, but you can see I actually have my depth highlight set at 24 foot of water. That 24 foot of water really is the transition between the hard to soft bottom. A lot of times, whitefish will actually follow along that soft bottom transition. A lot of times they feed on these bloodworms that live in the soft bottom, but they run that edge. But when we get out in this area, rather than just arbitrarily, you know, walking around cutting holes, I'm gonna actually drive the perimeter of the hole at that depth level and punch holes, and that's where we're gonna set up, and hopefully we'll find some whitefish.
Well, we found where the good sharp drop is. So this looks like a good spot to start out anyhow. Based on how cool and windy it is out, this is gonna be good. So I just, because we're fishing in 30-ish feet of water, got a good cone angle here. I just took my little 6-inch auger, cut a hole in between the two I'm fishing, and I'm gonna put my depth finder in that hole. That way I can read both of my lure or my lines down. I can read my minnow on the dead stick, and I can read my jig. See them both at the same time, and then if I catch fish, whitefish go nuts when you catch them. So, you know, 9 out of 10 times they're gonna get caught in a deucer, so you don't have to worry about pulling your puck out of the hole. You just leave that one there, and I can fish cleanly in both holes. So just kind of a personal preference thing, but it seems to work pretty good. And then later on, I'm probably gonna drop a little camera down too, a little Aqua-Vu micro, and just watch my minnow, see if there are whitefish coming in, see what they're doing around the minnow, what their mood is, stuff like that. So it's kind of a all-purpose little third hole here right in the middle. Keeps things out of the way.
One thing about whitefish that's sort of odd with like walleyes or panfish, even crappies to a degree. Crappies suspend quite a bit, but the whitefish, like lake trout, you could catch them like right below the surface. I mean, as a matter of fact, a lot of times I catch them, you know, within 5 foot of the hole. A lot of times you can actually visually, you know, you're in a real clear water lake, you can actually watch your bait and see the fish come in around the baits, which is sort of cool. Whoop, there's one. I got a whitey right here, right underneath the hole.
Oh, I got one. I see one too, right here on my graph. Right
He's
here.
really high. Bring your minnow
I got mine
up.
going too. Here he comes, here he comes, here he comes. Oh shoot, I missed him. He's still there. Come on. He hit me. Come on, you little devil. Come on.
Was he up real high?
Yep, here he comes. He's gonna bite. Come on. Oh, he went away.
Where's your, bring your dead minnow up. Oh, there he is. He's right here. I can see him.
Yeah, it hit me, but oh, there he is. He just missed my lure. I'm watching him right now. He just came in and missed.
Yeah,
me.
he's
really,
got
really big one.
Yeah, I see him right there.
He's got a little mark on his back.
Yeah.
Oh, there he is. He's under my bait. Oh, here he. Oh, got him. Got him.
Michael
got him. I watched my jig disappear. Yeah. That was awesome. And just like he's like right here.
Yeah, I know.
Holy cow.
Right below the hole. Yeah.
How's that?
Yeah.
Well,
that isn't a bad
wild.
one. Whoa, whoa.
There we go.
There we go.
First one of the day.
Yeah.
Boy, they're just hard to hold on to, but yeah, like you said, they might be on the bottom. They might be right under the ice.
When they're actively feeding,
Yeah.
a lot of times you're catching them right below the ice.
Yeah, no, I watched him come right in and open his mouth up, and he missed like 3 times, and then he finally they just kind of come in and they do this, and then they do this, and then they do this. They like never sit still.
Is he going to turn into a smoker? Are you going to get the
Well,
smoker going?
I was thinking about doing that, huh? Firing up the smoker and doing a batch of these little guys.
My wife called me up on the way here and she asked, "Are you going to keep them?" He says, "Get some smoked whitefish."
Heck, why not? Why not? Throw them in the bucket. Perfect size. So that was.
I had my chances with him.
You have to have your eyes in about 5 different places with these things. Your graph, watching your dead stick rod, and then looking under the hole. It was like that fish came in. My jig was at 20. That fish came in at 10 feet. I reeled up. He came up and I had to work him up to literally like 5 feet under the hole. And I watched him eat the jig, so pretty fun stuff.
What did you catch him on? You got him on a tungsten?
Nope, I got him on this Forage minnow spoon, a blue Forage.
Oh, a spoon. Oh, I thought
a wax worm. Yep,
I thought you might have got him on a tungsten and
nope,
plastic.
I was going to try that, but. So for jigging lures that we're using today, or I guess would be a good variety of jigging lures to use for whitefish, some of our favorites. The jigging wrap, the number 2 or 3 size blue chrome jigging wrap is hard to beat. Also, Northland puppet minnow, similar deal. That swimming action bait, it's good at attracting fish, but it also has the little hooks to hook them. Another option would be this VMC rocker jig. It's got the chain dropper on it, which would be good tipped with a minnow head or a waxworm. Next we have a tungsten with a soft plastic, which is always a good bet. This is a probe jig. And then finally, one of my favorites is the Northland Forage minnow, and it comes in 2 varieties, a single hooked banana shaped bait or a treble hooked spoon. And both of them are really good tipped with like a small minnow head, waxworm, or maggot. So if you bring these baits out here with you whitefish fishing, you're gonna catch fish on them. Oh, there he is. He's under my jig right now. I got him circling. He took a swipe at it and missed. Come on. He went, oh, here he is. Oh!
Got him?
My jig disappeared.
Oh, there he is. There's another one. I got him right here. He's right on my bait.
Here he is on mine.
Is he?
Yep.
I know
My worm fell off, so he won't grab it now. I gotta get it up and get another worm on.
There,
He
he's just
right
looking. Look at it. There's another one. There's 2 of them.
Oh gosh.
Whoop. Got him. Got him.
You got him?
Yeah. There we go. Yep. There we go.
I'll get your thing.
Whoa. There he is. Right here. There he is. Come here, buddy. There we go.
All right.
Aren't they
Combat fishing for whiteys.
They're really a beautiful fish when you look at this thing. You know, look at that. They're just gorgeous. That's not particularly a big one. In some lakes, you know, we have some of our lakes up here, we catch them up to like 5 to 6 pounds. They're gorgeous, but these are really the good size eaters. These are the ones that we're going to use for smoking rather than those really big ones. The interesting thing is a little bit of the
Here we go.
the fish itself, Michael. How old are some of these fish? These are really interesting fish because some of these fish are very old.
I spoke with a biologist last week who's been doing some work on this particular lake, and he says the whitefish get old, but he had a fish that was similar in length to this first one we caught, like a 19-incher. They aged it 62 years old, which is just like, it's older than me, it's older than you. It's like fish that old, it's crazy.
We're set up along a really pretty specific spot because right up here, there's like a really sharp wall drop that is actually, the top of the ledge is actually 6 foot of water, and it goes vertically almost down to 30 foot right into the basin. So it's like a really distinct wall. Not only is it a distinct wall, it's like a bowl. And what we're in is what I term as a bait trap. It's like an inside corner, a cup that actually where they cruise along, and when they're actively hunting, they use those walls to push bait against to trap bait. And this is the type of spot you want to set up on.
For whitefish, sometimes being in one spot is the best, especially with a couple guys fishing. So we've got multiple lines down with minnows and jigs, and whitefish are always moving, always roaming. So we're constantly, there's probably new fish coming into this area all the time. So they're moving around and they're coming to us. And that works out good on a day like today because it's pretty cold out, pretty windy out. So we just set up this 8x8 clam refuge hub house. It's insulated. It's got lots of room inside for putting all our stuff out, spreading out the lines really good. And we got a nice heater going and we're fishing comfortably. And the other good thing about using a house like this for fishing for whitefish is the dark roof. So when we are bringing these fish up from the bottom and we're getting them within 5-6 feet of the ice surface, we can look down the hole and we can see them really good. If we were outside, we wouldn't be able to look down because of the glare of the sun, or the sky. So kind of a nice way to sit and fish on a cold day and not feel like you have to move around.
You know, both of these fish that we've caught so far were caught within probably 8 to 10 feet of the surface. And what I'm using is this little jigging wrap, and I'm using it as an attractor bait, and I'm swimming it up and down throughout the entire water column in like 8 to 10 foot increments. I'll jig it, you know, right now as you can see, I'm at right below the surface at 7-8 foot down. I'll drop it down, let it drop down to about 14. Jig it there for a period of time, drop it down again, another 7-8 feet increment, drop it down there. What I'm trying to do is attract the fish. The whitefish can be cruising at any depth in the water column. So, oh, there's one right there. Look at him, see him, how it's cat and mouse. A lot of times what the deal is with whitefish is you sort of pull it away from him, see how he's chasing the bait? And what I'm doing is slowly, steadily pulling it away from the fish. And then I'll stop it for a second and oh, there he is. See, he's still there. He just disappeared. What the weird thing is, watch, he'll come back in. He missed the bait. Whoop. There, to see him, he's coming back in. See, it's like cat and mouse, so what you want to do is, now he's really hot on the bait. Oh, see, a lot of times what I'll do is keep on reeling the bait up away from him consistently. Oh, he's still on it. You can see. Oh, come on. I can probably see him. He's got to be right below there. Look at him. He's just looking at it. Oh, look at him. Oh, it's a great big one, Michael. Great big one.
Catch him.
Good, great big one. Look at him.
I'm jigging at your level trying to...
See him? Oh. See him? He's just looking at it. Right there. Oh, look at that. God. Come here. Oh, look at that, Michael, great big one. Oh, gosh, that's a biggie.
Really, oh, he's over on mine now. I got one here. He's the same one, and come on.
You got your...
Got him.
Got him? Yeah, see that.
He turned on that worm and just sucked it in.
Yeah.
Right under the hole. Oh.
But that's what
probably the same fish, right?
But that's what I was saying. The whole thing is the active fish. You see, that's exactly what I mean. We baited that fish, came in from about 25 foot down, and I kept on bringing the fish up. And a lot of times you'll catch the fish really high in the water column. You know, and that's why I think a lot of people are even fishing in lakes where they're at and don't catch them for that exact, because they're not fishing where the fish are at. The
lake whitefish have like a underslung jaw, so they have a kind of a snout over the top of their mouth there, but their mouth actually opens up to be pretty big. But they're so hard to hook sometimes, and then you get one that eats it like this. It's just crazy. But that was fun.
It was.
Thanks for bringing them up.
Yeah, that was the exact representation of how you catch these things.
But they're good, just a nice size fish. This is going to be a good one for the smoker.
You know, one thing that is really important, obviously, is electronics, because with these fish, they're coming through anywhere in the water column, from the surface to right down to the bottom. But I'm fishing with the Helix 7. This is a really nice unit in the fact that it has a couple of different features that I really like. Number one is a map. You know, when you come out, you don't have to cut as many holes. You know, with a Lake Master chip, you have a really detailed 1 foot contour map. And when we initially got out here, we made this line, identified the hard to soft bottom transition. We're on an inside corner cup. But the other thing that I really like on here is the interference rejection. And right in this hub house, Michael and I were actually fishing with the same unit, a Helix 7, 5 feet apart. And it's got like 6 different settings where I can actually adjust it to really tune out any type of crosstalk with anybody else that I might be fishing around. A lot of times when we're ice fishing whiteys like this, we might have 5 guys within 40, 50 feet of each other. And it's really nice in the fact that you can see when I hit this check mark and adjust through there, you can see how I can really just take that interference instantaneously off there, so I have a really clear vision on my bait and any fish that happen to be coming through from the surface to the bottom.
He's coming up to look at my minnow. Okay, watch the dead stick rod here. Watch this dead stick rod. Here's the fish. My minnow's at about 12 feet.
He just came up for it?
He just came up and now he's still hanging around it. Nope, there he is. He's looking at it again. Oh, there he hit it. I'm gonna bring my jig up a little higher, see if I can. Rod tip's bouncing. He's still around.
Yeah, your minnow's getting antsy.
He's gonna grab my jig here, I think. He's coming up to my jig. Oh, there he hit the jig.
Oh, you got him.
I brought the jig up.
Oh, is that right?
I brought the jig up to the depth of the minnow. And
Michael.
above it, I know I'm kind of hogging him on you, but
that's all right.
that minnow on that dead stick brought him in and kept him around long enough for me to, boy, this is a good fish. Pretty good one.
Whitey?
Oh, boy, yeah, they're tough to get them up the
There
hole.
you go.
There we go. All about the same size, just a really good quality fish. And they're harder than heck
To hold.
on to. They're like a slippery eel. So there we go. Another player's job. Oh, hold on a second. Get him out. They either miss it completely or they get everything. Like so. There we go. Just a sleek little pretty guy. You can see why they're why the big pike and muskies like them. They just look like a good dinner, don't they, Jimmy?
Yeah, yeah. It grows giant muskies in the lakes they swim in.
I'll put him in the bucket. So the dead stick rod I was talking about is this. It's like a 30-inch to 32-inch glass rod. It's really a stiff backbone in here and it's soft up here. So what we're doing is you just hang in a minnow on a split shot, or a minnow on a hook below some split shot, and the tip sort of acts as your indicator, and when a fish grabs it, you'll see the hit, and it loads up like this, so you're not using a cork, and they basically hook themselves. So this is another really good way to run a second line. Now I'll show you what I got here. It's just strictly, I got a couple shot above a little barrel swivel and a minnow, and it was swimming around down there. So when I was watching my graph, I had this guy at about 14 feet, so about halfway down in the water column, and all of a sudden I just seen a mark come up and sit on him, and he just didn't quite want to take the minnow, but he hung around long enough for me to get my jig up, jigged above that, and then I caught him. So kind of acting as a line to catch one on, but also as an attractor.
You know, he's using that dead stick rod. That's real common that we use that for walleyes as well as for crappies. That exact same type of presentation works really good. A lot of times the same thing, you're fishing in a tractor, and a lot of times that rod will catch more fish than any of them. But right now, for some reason, it seems like the fish are pretty active and we're catching them on the tractor spoons and jigging wraps.
Yeah, like Jimmy was just saying with the dead stick rod, there's days when that will catch all the fish. The fish are in a weird mood. All they want to bite is a minnow on a hook. So it's always good to have one down, but other days it brings them in, keeps them around long enough, and then you catch them jigging. So having one rod with a jigging lure and one rod with a plain minnow is a really good 1-2 punch for most types of fishing, walleye, crappie, and whitefish. So.
Well, here he comes. Here he comes. Oh,
you got him?
Yep, I got him. Oh, yep. There you go.
I'm gonna reel up this camera so he doesn't get in the way.
Yeah, there you go. That's, you know, one thing that is the rods and reels you fish with and line, because these guys are, you know, it's real clear water, and they actually have a relatively small mouth. Oh, it's a nice one, Mike. If you, whoop, come here. Oh no, he's gonna transducer me. Yeah, he is. There we go.
That's the fun of doing it, right?
Yeah, come here, buddy. Oh. But you want a relatively soft action rod. I'll show you when I get done with this. I got this.
Oh yeah.
There we go. There we go. Get this guy sort of Boy, he's going to be a tasty little nipper there. Look at him. He's a great big minnow. Aren't they beautiful? Look at that thing. They're just gorgeous in color. One thing that's really critical is hooking, and then not only that is landing these fish, because they have a really soft, delicate mouth. I have a St. Croix rod here. This is a Mojo 28-inch medium light action rod, spooled with 4-pound test. I have a Ballistics 1000 size reel. And I'm spooled with 4-pound test Suffix Elite line. I have just really relatively light monofilament. But the thing is, you'll notice the action of this rod. It's really, really relatively soft. And it's not only to hook the fish because they have that small mouth. If you have too stiff of an action rod, you have the tendency to pull the bait away from the fish itself. You want that light action rod because once you hook them, not only hooking them is fighting them. You know, you'll have if you have too stiff of an action rod, you'll have the tendency to tear the hooks out of the fish's mouth. And I got the classic whitefish bait. This is a number 3 blue and silver jigging wrap. It's about as good as it gets for this, as an attractor bait. We'll see if we can get a couple more here.
So we're gonna have a little fun. We're gonna drop this Aqua-Vu Micro Revolution 5 down the middle hole where I got my transducer as well. Keep it out of the way of stuff. And I'm gonna point it so it's looking down. I'm gonna position it above my minnow line. That way I can kind of get a bird's eye view of fish coming in, and if they decide to look at the minnow. But if I do it here, it's sort of out of the way for the catching a fish too in the middle. Something's going down right there. Oh, there's my split shot right there. Around, there he is right there. So I'm sitting right above the minnow right there.
Oh, look at that. Oh, look at that little rascal. He's plummeting back to the point. That's what I mean, how fast they move. That's
that
whitefish. You can see how fast they just, look at how he just raced back
down
to the bottom.
He locked up on my minnow.
Here he comes.
He's on my minnow. Look at my dead
No,
stick.
he didn't. He's on me. Oh, look at that. Oh.
I saw him on mine too.
Oh, Michael.
Here. Come over to me.
No. Wait, here he is.
Oh, he came back up, didn't he?
Oh, there
Did you get him, little bugger? I thought I saw my minnow line bob, and I'm like, I'm going to get him.
He was focused on that. Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Kept him around.
Oh. There you go.
All clear.
Come here, buddy. I see him racing around down there.
Look, a pretty good one, huh?
Yeah. Oh, Michael, a big one. Holy mackerel. I mean, we're talking
I saw that.
That was a big one. That was like a 5-pounder. Bummer.
Oh
gosh. What do you think about that? That's a real aggravation. That was. Hey, boy.
Did it even hit the bottom of the hole?
Gosh, what?
Did it hit the bottom of the hole, or?
No, he was right underneath the hole. I had him. I don't know. It's just the one thing. That's the way those fish are. They got those soft mouths. If you lean on them too hard, gosh, that was a whopper too. That's what's so cool about these particular fish. You know, each fish have their own personality, and the way that fish came in, he came up from the bottom to almost 15 feet vertically, went back to the bottom. I dropped the bait back down. He looked at Michael's minnow for a little bit. I started pulling it back up, and he shot back over to my minnow. I mean, they're racing around like this. They're shooting around in the water column really quickly.
Really fast.
They are. That's what's cool about them.